Imagine this. Have breakfast at your table. As you turn on the TV, you anticipate the customary joy, warmth, and merriment. Stories. However, tears are what you actually get. Kelly Ripa, the bright spot in America's mornings for decades, breaks down in tears. This time, though, it wasn't a touching segment or memory that made her cry. Something far more intimate was at play. What happened with her husband, Mark Consuelos, startled viewers around the globe. There was more going on here than just amusement. It was a rude awakening, a strong reminder that even the most charming TV personalities can hide their inner troubles. This narrative is both moving and inspiring, and we will be exploring it thoroughly today. Stay with me all the way to the end, because even though it begins with pain, it ends with hope, and you will be drawn to hear the powerful message that Mark and Kelly delivered with us. Mark Conso and Kelly Ripa have been the epitome of a perfect family and a real partnership for a long time. Their relationship began on the daytime drama All My Children in the 90s. Their on-screen connection quickly developed into a real-life romance, and fans vividly remember the sparks that flew between them. Kelly and Mark were never like the typical Hollywood couple. Their goal was not to cause controversy. They were being modest about their fortune. They chose to build a house, raise 3 children, and show America the power of public love. Because of how relatable they were, viewers adored them. The fears of a working mother, the difficulties of raising teenagers, and Kelly's own struggles were all openly discussed. Mark, who was also building his own career at the same time, acted as a rock for her. Something more, though, was occurring beneath that steady exterior. An emotionally taxing revelation made by Kelly not long ago. It transpired amidst a heartfelt episode of Kelly and Mark's life. The typical humorous anecdotes, celebrity interviews, and lighthearted banter were the main draws for the viewers. Kelly, on the other hand, started to cry and reveal something very private about Mark that no one had anticipated. She spoke frankly about his problems, not with fame or money, but with something more relatable, something that the audience could relate to. She came clean about the fact that Mark had been carrying a secret that no one knew about, even in their apparently ideal marriage. Her tears streamed as she attempted to put it into words. It was shocking for those watching from home. The presenter wasn't Kelly. As a partner and wife, Kelly was there to see her much-loved one fight a struggle she herself could not win. So, what was this conflict all about, and why was it so shocking to the world? Mark Conso is well known for his charisma, physical prowess, good looks, and laid-back sense of humor. However, he suddenly let Kelly in on the price he paid for decades of fame, constant employment, and the stress of always being on. It wasn't just tension. That wasn't just weariness. Something deeper was at play here. Anxiety at becoming someone else. Behind closed doors, the family rock was struggling with self-doubt, exhaustion, and emotional difficulties. Kelly admitted that she hadn't realized how heavy it had gotten until Mark sobbed one night. She had thought he was untouchable for decades, so that moment was devastating to her. And just like that, he was. However, this was about more than just their suffering. On a deeper level, it dealt with an issue that affects millions of people. The fact that Mark was having difficulty wasn't the only thing that astonished everyone. It was that I could relate to his problems. In many ways, it was a reflection of the viewers' own lives. Everything from the demands of aging and family responsibilities to the mental and physical toll of feigning strength when you're really crumbling. Kelly's husband wasn't the only one for whom she shed tears. All those who have seen a loved one quietly bear an insurmountable burden can relate. They were for you. This is for every spouse who has ever felt powerless. Anyone who has battled to maintain strength for the sake of their children. Everyone who has ever put on a brave face while hiding their true feelings. The smooth exterior of celebrity life crumbled in that unvarnished, unscripted moment on television. Real humanity, stripped down to its essentials, remained. Despite that, the story wasn't solely about sadness. What happened next was the main point. Laughter, limitless energy, and perseverance are 3 qualities that have long made Kelly Ripa famous. However, she displayed an alternative form of resilience when she was faced with Mark's concealed struggles. Actions driven by love's power. She came clean to her admirers about making adjustments at home. She begged Mark to take it easy, sleep, and step back anytime he felt overwhelmed. She was adamant that the show and her stardom could wait. The guarantee of his safety was an absolute must. Tears swelled up in her eyes as she grieved not only for Mark's suffering, but also for the profound appreciation she had for his eventual, publicly discussing it. Sometimes the most brave thing you can do is accept that you're not strong, she informed her audience. There was an aura of mystery about that brief admission. Known for her boundless enthusiasm, this woman stunned everyone with a moment of real emotion. She went on to say that the subsequent tears were shed for Mark's bravery as much as his anguish, finding the guts to quit acting altogether. This public reckoning marked the transition from one chapter to another in Mark Conso's life. The man who had always been portrayed by Kelly as the Rock, a self-assured and charming co-host, was suddenly revealing his own frailties. As a result, he became more approachable than a famous person could be through a story. A deep, creeping burnout was what Kelly was describing. The weariness that comes with having your family, your profession, and your marriage all rolled into one public persona is what it was. Mark had been the unsung hero for a long time, but things became different once he became her co-host and the center of attention. Out of nowhere, millions of people were analyzing every single interaction, joke, and argument. Being a nice host wasn't the only reason to wait. The ideal spouse was going to be featured on broadcast 5 days a week. Kelly didn't mean a sudden collapse, but rather a gradual deterioration. Just as she had suggested, the veneer finally collapsed during a night of discreet talk. Additionally, Mark confessed to his wife that he was becoming overwhelmed by the din. He was exhausted. He felt anxious about disappointing her. Concerned that he could fall short of everyone's expectations, he hid his true self. Sharing it live was a huge risk for Kelly, but it paid off in a way they hadn't anticipated. There was no sympathy from the crowd. A flood of compassion washed over. Even though social media is typically a platform for criticism, there was an overwhelming amount of support comments. Instead of commenting on the host's clothing or jokes, viewers shared stories about their own spouses, wives, burnout, and the stress of trying to keep it all together. I felt the weight of Kelly's sorrow today, one supporter commented. In Mark, I see my husband, the one who tries to take it all on and never says a word of complaint until he can't. It was more genuine than any reality program, according to another tweeter. By normalizing tiredness, they rescued many marriages. The show's dynamic was altered by this unfiltered moment. Viewers now witness a new live show with Kelly and Mark. The shine is still present, but it has been softened with a fresh dose of genuine humanity. Kelly's protectiveness toward Mark is tangible, and he seems to have developed a vulnerability that wasn't before apparent. Imperfection is more acceptable to them. No longer is their bickering seen as a sign of a failed marriage performance, but rather as the language of a genuine, long-term partnership. Not only did Mark open up more as a host, but he also started to talk more freely about his struggles with vulnerability, mental health, boundary setting, and the recognition that strength does not imply silence were topics he began to discuss. For a long period, he thought his sole responsibility was to be unwavering, and he failed to see that he was robbing his wife of the opportunity to be his rock in return. Now we can hear the profound message that Mark and Kelly left for everyone. The story's founding promise of a message of hope. Building an impenetrable fortress is not the goal of a genuine partnership, according to their message. There's no need for two individuals to be perfect. Assuming one of them makes a mistake, the story follows. Saying, I'm not okay, and lovingly responding with, I know and I'm here, are major themes. As far back as anybody can remember, Kelly and Mark peddled a fantastical tale. They achieved stardom as a soap opera pair, an outlier from Hollywood. In a deeply emotional moment, Kelly Ripa was seen breaking down in tears as she bid a heartbreaking farewell. The beloved TV host, known for her infectious energy and warmth on Live with Kelly and Mark, was visibly shaken by the unexpected turn of events. As she tearfully said her goodbyes, the emotions were more than just a reflection of the moment. They were a testament to the deep bond she shares with her co-host and husband, Mark Consuelos. But what truly stunned the world was Mark's personal struggle, which has remained mostly private until now. Viewers were shocked as Mark revealed the challenging emotional journey he has been facing behind the scenes. His vulnerability caught everyone off guard, showing a side of the strong and charismatic personality that fans rarely see. The couple, known for their impeccable chemistry on screen, displayed an entirely new level of connection, one rooted in real-life hardships and strength. The episode quickly went viral, with fans around the world sending messages of support and love to the duo. Many were moved by how both Kelly and Mark have handled such a personal, tough situation so publicly. The goodbye was not just a farewell to another episode. It was a farewell to a chapter of their lives that fans have been a part of for years. This emotional goodbye has left a lasting impact on viewers, showing that even in the spotlight, celebrities experience heart-wrenching struggles that remind us all of the importance of love, support, and resilience in the face of adversity. The world continues to rally behind Kelly and Mark as they navigate these difficult times together.